Welcome to Gutter Trash, episode 330. Playtime. I'm sure that's exactly how it was pronounced.
Yeah.
My name is Eric.
I'm Jason.
How's it going?
Huh. Well, it's going alright.
Alright.
Yeah. We just watched Playtime.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Want to just get right into it? Okay.
Why was it so horrible?
I don't know.
Because it was.
It was not great.
It was horrible.
Yeah. We've seen a lot of bad movies.
Uh-huh.
Individually and together.
Sure.
I don't think... I think this phrase gets thrown around a lot, but I think this is the first time that it's entirely applicable. I don't think I've ever seen a movie without a plot before.
Yeah.
This is entirely plotless.
It is. It's missing a lot of things. A plot being one of them. And then that's not us watching, disturbing behavior and saying this movie has no plot.
Right.
No. I mean, there wasn't one.
There's literally nothing
It's
in
not.
this movie.
Yeah, there's
events.
Yeah, there's scenes.
Yeah.
It kind of, what it felt like, because it's largely wordless.
For the most part.
And it's largely comical? I mean,
supposed to be. I semi-chuckled maybe 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, I think maybe 1 in every 50 jokes was funny.
Yeah.
But it felt like a string of mad marginals put together. If those weren't funny.
Before the movie got to the point where I hated it.
Right.
It really did remind me of like an old-timey cartoon.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Like a 40s cartoon.
Oh yeah. Like just a hapless guy wandering through, a weird world and, stuff happens.
Okay, because this movie...
But those cartoons are usually only like 5 minutes long.
Yeah. Not 2 hours and 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, so this movie, it was made in the late 60s, and it's a French movie.
Yes.
And it's about a character who I've heard of.
Sure.
Monsieur Hulot.
Yeah.
Who gets on adventures, and I've heard of, there's this movie where he goes to the beach, and it's supposed to be really funny.
Okay.
It's like a bunch of, slapstick weirdness.
Right.
This movie is him, going through Paris, kind of, cause it says on the back he's a lovably old-fashioned man, and he's, being, thrust, all this, modern technology is being thrust upon him.
Right.
And he has to, figure it out. And there's a couple of times where it's kind of funny, he doesn't realize he's in an elevator, and then the elevator starts going, and
right.
a couple of things. But it's 2 hours and something, and part of it is him doing that stuff,
right.
And it goes back and forth from him to other people.
Yeah.
But there's no,
no through line.
No, and there's no story, there's no...
Nope. The closest thing that this movie has to a storyline is that there's a group of American tourists, and they visit Paris, and then at the end they go home.
Yeah. And you seriously did not leave anything out.
Yep.
That is seriously the entire story. There's not, more. And we should also point out, this is a Criterion Collection film.
It is indeed. So apparently well respected.
Yeah.
Has an 8.0 rating on IMDb.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other than, like I said, maybe 1 in every 50 jokes I thought was kind of funny.
Right.
But even that kind of funny.
Right.
I will say I really enjoyed the music in this film.
It's, there's a lot of really good music.
Yeah, a lot of good jazz and just weird. And I totally respect the strangeness and what they were trying to do with it. But it did not work for me at all.
Same. honestly, I respect sort of what the intention of this was, but I think what I respect the most out of this movie is clearly it is very well put together, like on a very technical level, like just
because there's so much going on.
There's a lot going on, and there needs to be. I mean, it is just perfectly. I don't want to say paced because this movie is 2.5 hours.
Yeah, yeah, it's not
2.5 hours long, but it goddamn
it felt like 3.5. Yeah. It really did.
Oh,
like I kept looking at the clock and I was like, seriously, 10 minutes have went by? Seriously?
Right? No, yeah, I did the same. But the technical precision that needed to be done in order to pull off everything that they pulled off in this movie, from just getting characters from one place to the other.
Right, because they're all like intermingling and choreographed.
Right, and then there's like, just contraptions and buildings and cars and traffic, and it all just plays out like this big Rube Goldbergian machine.
Yeah.
And I like that is stunning, the amount of time and effort that it must have taken to get it all to the point. But the fact that there is no point is the biggest thing in this movie.
And even that, like, that's really awesome of you to say that, but I really think, like, visually, it doesn't really come across. Like, I've seen, another French director, Jean-Pierre Jeunet, his movies are so, immaculately choreographed, like Amelie and, a lot of his films, Micmacs, where, like, just weird things happen and camera movements, like, transfer from one character to the other, and they all, like, just barely miss each other, and, like, all these crazy things happen, and it looks amazing.
Yeah.
I feel like this didn't really look amazing. It just, like, if you really sit down and think about it, they moved the camera, and, like, people were entering the frame as other people were exiting, and it was choreographed and timed perfectly, but it didn't really look awesome.
I don't know. I think you're maybe coloring it too poorly because of how you feel about the end product. Like, I thought technically it was fine, and visually it was fine too.
Right.
But, I think being so fucking bored.
Oh, it was so boring.
Just got in the way of that, maybe. Like, because with a Jean-Pierre Jeunet movie, there's also a story, and it's compelling, and there's interesting characters, and clever things happening.
Right, but, you can relate, like, characters that have depth to them and, like, interest, as opposed to just...
Yeah, no character in this is...
No.
Got a character. They're just placeholders for what is happening.
Right.
And, again, not much is happening.
Just wordless sight gags that frankly get really old.
Oh, yeah.
Like, some of them they just beat in the ground, like the like this door gets shattered, and the doorman, like, just sits there and holds because it's a glass door, and he holds the knob and opens and closes it as if, when people enter.
That was funny once.
Yeah, they did it like 20 times, 30 times. Yeah. Is this the kind of thing... Is this the reason the French like Jerry Lewis so much?
I don't know.
Stuff like this?
Because I certainly find Jerry Lewis far more entertaining than anything that happened in this movie.
Yeah. It was so immensely disappointing. Like,
yeah.
I saw this at the library, and I was excited because I was like, oh, I've heard of, Monsieur Hulot, and like I've heard those are funny and weird and old and sight gaggy, and it's like, this could be different. And it was just so disappointing.
But you had not seen any of the other movies?
No,
character
never.
Right. Will you now?
I doubt it. I mean, I'll try anything once, Right. I love experimental film. Yeah, like we tried it that once, and it's enough. But, I don't know. I mean, maybe if I saw, like, at the library, the one where he goes to the beach, that's supposed to, like, that's the one I've always heard is really funny. Mm-hmm. Maybe I would pick that up.
Right.
But I don't even know. Like, I was so disappointed. Disappointed.
This is just plotting.
So did this make Come Along seem enjoyable to you?
No. At least I can say that Come Along was over quicker.
Yeah. Right? It didn't take you 2.5 hours.
No, and I did not fall asleep in the middle of it where an excruciating point where nothing was actually happening at all.
Right.
The scene
gosh.
where
The restaurant?
No. Oh god.
The restaurant just went on forever.
The restaurant. It is literally the last hour of the movie.
Yeah.
At least the first hour was broken up into like various
10 different places.
Right. Yeah. But no, just before the restaurant with the apartments.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I literally passed out through a good portion of
You
that.
didn't miss anything.
No, I did not.
Okay, so, in this crazy modern world, like, there's this apartment complex where it's kind of like loft apartments downtown. Like, there's just like a giant window for one of the walls. And so, the camera's outside on the street and you're seeing like these two different apartments and what's going on in each one.
Yep.
And like, I kept waiting for something interesting to happen because you can't hear anything. All you hear is the street noise.
Yep.
And I thought maybe they would do some sight gags where, the one apartment would be like doing something and it would somehow look like the other one was reacting to it, even though they were just watching TV or something.
Right.
But no, it was just terrible.
Nope. Yep.
Yeah.
Just literally watching people in their own homes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
Like there's supposed to be this sort of gag where like the Hulot is in his friend's apartments, and the next apartment over is like this business guy
right.
that Hulot was supposed to be meeting like in one of the first scenes in the movie.
Sure.
And they just kept missing each other.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I thought that would have maybe some sort of payoff.
Yeah. No. Oh.
And they do eventually meet up, but then we don't see
yeah, that was so
anything of
weird.
what that was supposed to be about.
Yeah, like they kept trying to meet up in the beginning and they kept missing each other, and then they finally meet up and they just kind of walk off together, and then
Right.
our attention's directed to some other sight gag and
Yep.
with other characters, and then it just continues to meander and
Yep. And then it's the restaurant for
God.
the last hour.
I swear it made my brain hurt. I was like, I love like weird and funny, and I'm like, this could be really interesting, and like people say it's good. It's a fucking Criterion Collection film.
Right.
So obviously, and like Terry Jones from Monty Python, I guess that's the Terry Jones that
So, yeah.
he introduces the film, and we didn't watch the introduction
We did not.
for no spoilers. Apparently,
Hey, guess what? There wouldn't have been any spoilers.
no, nothing happened. Yeah, unless that's what he told us, like, hey, get ready for nothing to happen. Spoiler. Oh my gosh. Like, it's so disappointing.
Yeah.
Incredibly disappointing.
Yeah, like I said, I can respect this on its technical levels, but just as a movie itself, it is
See, I can't even...
waste of time.
Like, I'm sure there was some, like, expertise that went into the technical aspects of this film, but to me, that is so overshadowed by
Right.
what a waste of our time it was,
Yeah.
that it, like, I'll never, like, sing its praises.
Oh, no, not at all. I do think that, like, in the 60s, this is probably very influential, because clearly, like, there have been other filmmakers that have sort of taken what this movie does and
Well, sure.
does it better.
Right?
Like Jean-Pierre Jeunet, and I'd say even Robert Altman,
Yeah.
with his movies, because I always find whenever I watch any of his movies that they're always really noisy. Like, there's just a lot of, like, the background noise is, like, always up in the forefront, and the dialogue is always kind of obscured, and that is definitely what is happening in this movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The main difference being that the dialogue in a Robert Altman movie usually matters.
But I wonder, though, if like, one of those directors hadn't seen this film, if they were just been like, man, all these other movies are kind of boring, I'm gonna try doing something different, as
Right.
opposed to saying, like, man, this movie tried to do something different and just failed miserably.
Right.
Like, either way, like, I feel like those two directors were so creative that they would have done something interesting.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, you don't need to apologize for this.
At least, like, with the comic last week, I was like, well, Eric didn't like it, but it was fucking good. He just doesn't get it. But this week, I'm like, ugh.
This is by far not the worst movie you've ever picked.
Really? You
Yeah.
don't think?
Oh, I still hold Goliath.
Well, yeah. Goliath was one of the worst movies ever. It's about a guy's cat that gets ran over, and that's pretty much the whole movie.
Yep.
This was
this was a waste of time, but
yeah.
I mean, at the same time, you and I, we didn't know any better.
No, we didn't.
And
and now you do, listener.
Oh yeah.
Like, okay, here's the thing. I know you're listening to this, and last week you heard us talk about cum lung. So you're clearly on a page where you're like, these guys are just fucking morons. And you're probably not wrong. And like, the Criterion people said this was a good movie, right. And we are saying it's not. So, obviously.
Draw your own conclusion.
Right. But I'm telling you, it is not good.
It is really not.
No.
And I don't even think this is a thing where, well, we just weren't in the right mindset for
No.
it.
I will never be in the right mindset for this. And I like fucking artsy shit. like.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine how fucking pretentious someone is to praise this movie.
Right. I mean, I will watch some shit that, like, even sometimes I'm like, this is pretty artsy, but I still really like it.
Right.
But this is just so far removed from any sort of narrative or storyline or, like, what I consider good filmmaking.
No, yes. It is like trying to be like a Three Stooges movie, but with like, experimental filmmaking techniques.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But just imagine like the unfunniest Three Stooges.
Right.
Like a Shemp or a Curly Joe.
I like Shemp.
I do too.
But yeah, no, it's like, yeah, let's make slapstick more cerebral. Yeah, we'll fix it. And they just fucked it up.
Yeah. It is a waste of time.
Oh my gosh. Please, if anyone has seen this, or any other movie by, is it Jacques Tati?
I think so, yeah.
If you know better, and like, you can prove us wrong and say, hey, here's why it's good.
Right.
Please, for the love of God, tell us.
Right.
Because we don't get it.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's that either of us think we don't get it, like we're missing it.
No, yeah, this is definitely not an instance of that. Like,
no.
There have been stuff where, I'm like, okay, maybe I'm just too dumb to get this.
Right.
I don't feel that way about this movie at all.
No, me neither. Not even, like, 1%.
I mean, like, I definitely did during the beginning, like during the opening airport scene.
Well, yeah.
I was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Where is this going?
Right.
And, spoiler, nowhere.
Nowhere quick.
Nowhere
slow.
Yeah. Yep. Because I was like, there's like just all these disparate people, and we're listening to like one conversation, but then it just keeps, like from that point, it just bounces back and forth between all these different characters. And then, like, somehow we wind up, like, in an office building with this dude, Monsieur Hulot, and Stan Lee, and...
Right. Yeah, there was a few visually interesting things, like when that old man was figuring out this giant computer, and,
right.
And like, okay, this is the 60s, and like, he's trying to, because apparently his movies have a theme, because it says something in the back. It says, gloriously choreographed, nearly wordless comedies about confusion in an age of high technology reach their apotheosis with Playtime. For this monumental achievement, a nearly 3-year-long bank-breaking production, Tati again thrust the lovably old-fashioned Monsieur Hulot, along with a host of other lost souls, into a baffling modern world. Okay, so like that's kind of what he was trying to do, I guess?
Yeah.
But
it didn't come off.
No.
I mean,
no.
Like, just... Because, I mean, literally the majority of the movie, like, is focused on, like, this nightclub that is just opening, and, like,
people keep tripping upstairs, and, like...
Right, yeah, because it's not finished.
Yeah. That could have been funny.
Could have been.
Right?
I mean, I've seen episodes of Three's Company,
right?
revolved around similar premises.
Right, but much better done.
Usually. I mean, John Ritter is a national treasure.
Oh my god, seriously. That guy... Seriously, like, I can't think of anyone that I've seen take a more funny, like, pratfall or something. Like, he's a great physical comedian.
And I don't even think it's a thing, because I think you and I have had this discussion before. Like,
the rubber versus furly discussion.
We've definitely had that discussion, and I think I'm firmly
And I'm
firmly in the Furley camp.
Yeah.
But no, like we'll go see a movie or whatever, and there are trailers for like these comedies that keep coming out, and it's like, oh, somebody falls like 70 times in like this 2-minute trailer, and this is what they're trying to push on us. And we're just like, this is fucking stupid,
right?
Like I don't even think this movie suffers from us disliking that type of comedy. Like it is just bad.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
it's just not funny.
Yeah,
but it tries kind of hard to be funny because there's seriously like 1,000 like sight gags or jokes in this movie, but most of them are not funny. It's like literally people like running into walls. Like that's like one of the jokes,
right? Or tripping upstairs.
Yeah, and it's just like, so tired,
right? I honestly, I do not think that this is us not getting it. I think
No,
it's just a bad movie.
It's definitely the worst Criterion movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't know how many I've seen, but I would definitely say it's would almost put into question the entire Criterion catalog.
I mean, like that's I can't like specifically remember how many Criterion movies I've watched. I know I've watched a bunch because I used to rent them at Precinct 13 Video,
right?
Because he had
a
ton of them, and I was like, I've never heard of this. It's Criterion. I'll check it out. But this is the first time I ever remember going, Criterion, you steered me wrong.
Right.
Like I don't remember ever feeling that way before.
No, me neither. Like I think I saw Haxan, which is like a weird pseudo documentary about witchcraft and Satanism that was made in like 1920, and that was just sort of but like not to the point where like I just hated the experience,
right?
Which is what I felt while watching this.
I killed our day off together.
It's all right. But like I literally I kept checking like about an hour into it, I was like, like I checked Wikipedia, like I read the Wikipedia page on this just to see if there was any point to this movie that was happening.
Right.
And I realized that it was only an hour into it and that there was still an hour left. And I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
And then, like, after that, I just kept checking the time.
Me too.
It was dragging so much.
It was excruciating.
Yeah.
This is a painfully bad movie.
It really is.
And we took the brunt of it. We are your film martyrs this week. Please skip it. Like,
seriously, it does. It really makes me question, like, the people who, like, are proclaiming this to be, like, one of the
right
most, necessary movies of the 20th century.
Right. No.
Yeah. Like, what is your rationale? Seriously, like you said, if anybody out there can tell us why.
Yeah.
Please do.
Please do.
Yeah.
And I wonder, like, I seriously wonder if this isn't one of those things where it's like, it says on the back even, like, this is one of his later movies. I wonder if it's one of those things where they're like, well, he made so many good movies.
Right.
Let's just go ahead and, put the logo on this one too.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, are his other movies Criterion films?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Because I think at the library they had a bunch of his all in a row. I kind of wonder that if it's not one of those things where, like, well, Bob Dylan used to be great. Let's, Right. So, like, the Academy Awards giving an award to someone who's like, he's made 39 great movies, and for whatever reason, he's never won. Right.
Just make sure we get it to him this time. Yeah.
Or, like, all of his other movies have this, like, high regard, so obviously we should just put this one in there, too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not sure either. I do kind of want to watch the Terry Jones intro now,
right,
just to see what he has to say.
Right.
Yeah, but
I would have guessed, he saw it when he was younger, because this was from 1967. Of course, Monty Python was 70s.
It was like late 60s.
Late 60s, so it's not really that.
Almost contemporary to today's stuff.
That's true. Huh.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's weird.
Very weird. Yeah, I guess it just proves that, with Criterion, they can't all be gold.
You can't trust anybody. That's what it proves.
That too.
But trust us.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah. Alright. Well, you know what? I am kind of relieved that you did not like this movie.
Oh, can you imagine if I sat here and defended how great this was? I should have maybe just done that. Like, pretended like I loved it. Like, what? I can't believe you don't get it. This is amazing. Oh, the subtlety and the nuance of the comedy was perplexing me with its inventiveness. Nope, it sucked.
Alright. That's good. Because this movie isn't.
Right, no. Yeah, the best thing about it is the cover. I love the cover.
The cover is really
It's a really nice minimalist drawing.
Yeah.
But
Just looking at the cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
it's a really nice cover.
Very nice.
Dude staring at a chair.
Yep.
I love it.
And it's almost perfectly encapsulates what the movie is without having to sit through it.
Yeah, yeah. It takes precisely 2 hours less to enjoy the cover.
Alright. Want to take a break?
Yeah.
Say now, my trip in line with others, have the door pointing to others. Door means a separate wall is in between. Symbols assert the big butt whooping. Close your eyes, open them, take our taste. Close your eyes, open them, not so Thursdays. This rhythm that is all head what breaks the face. Close your eyes, open them, take our taste. Close your eyes, open them, not so Thursdays.
And when reality appears digital, with a big hankering coming, I'll vote yes for life in the big choice poll. I'll be glad I did.
Your mind organized by Nazis, your heart mind conspiring. Close your eyes, open them, take our taste. Close your eyes, open them, box the Thursdays. Close your eyes, open them, take our taste. Close your eyes, open them, box the Thursdays. Forever with you, forever without you, forever with you, ever 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 without you, forever with you.
Hey, welcome back to Gutter Trash.
Hey.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
There it was. We did it.
Yep.
Yeah, never again.
At least we'll think twice about it.
Right, yeah. Like I was saying during the break, I was like, I've never talked to another human about this director or any of his films.
Right.
So I've never heard, like, anything, positive or negative. And I saw this at the library, and I kind of was hoping, that, we would discover something that was kind of a gem,
Yeah.
you know?
That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I still think, there's so much out there, like, that hasn't been touted as being awesome, or at least not in the circles I've traveled in.
Right.
So, I mean, there's so much more out there that we're, like, missing out on.
Oh, yeah.
Like good movies and books and music and whatever.
Absolutely.
Porn,
Sure.
Like,
Of course.
yeah, of course. There's porn we've never even seen.
Right.
Like, that's sad. But yeah. I'm still gonna look for interesting things that I've never heard of.
Why not?
Because, like, I like weird.
Because
I just like good and weird.
sometimes it'll pay off.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Occasionally, there's more bad things than there are good things.
Absolutely.
And that goes in every single category in life.
Yep, across the board.
Like more bad food than good, more bad movies than good. And you just gotta find the good ones. You have to sift through a lot of bad shit
Exactly.
to find the good shit.
And I would even say, because there was a movie I watched a couple years ago where I sat through it, and it was like half an hour into it, and it was bad. Like, it was really bad. And usually I'm just like, okay, so at what point do I just give up on a movie, right?
Right? When you turn it off.
Right, yeah, do I sit through this? Maybe it'll get better, And I finished the movie. It got great.
Oh, really?
Like after the point where I was like, oh man, I'm just really not into this. I
Sure.
should just turn this off.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, alright, I'll give it like another 10 minutes. And like somehow within that 10 minutes, it got really good.
What was it?
It was called The Call.
Okay.
It was just a horror movie, and by any stretch of the imaginations, it's never going to be a Criterion movie or anything.
Well, but what does that mean, even?
Exactly, right? but like I persevered and got super rewarded for it. So sometimes you just never know.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are other movies that I've given up on where maybe it did get good.
Right.
But I'm fairly confident with those that they just continue to suck.
Right. I mean, most likely.
Yeah.
If something sucks long enough,
Right.
just, it's fine to move on.
Right.
At least you tried.
Exactly.
But yeah, I like finding things and discovering things. Like some of my favorite, comics, my favorite music is stuff that I think is good, but I think I like it even more because I just like randomly stumbled upon it and tried it out, and I was like, wow.
Yep.
And and like I would never have seen it or heard it otherwise.
Right.
And it just like adds a little bit to
Like Come Along.
like, come on. Exactly. Like if I had just read that it was an Eisner award-winning, LA book club book or whatever, and then I'd read it, I would be like, well, sure, they're correct. But yeah, just like having it fall in your lap is what sometimes adds to how much you enjoy something.
Yeah.
So yeah, keep trying, keep searching.
Yeah, and it is one of those things where it's like, hey, do we totally write off, Jacques Tati, entirely because of this movie, or like, would we give another one a shot?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, here's a good example. Okay, I like David Lynch films quite a bit.
Sure.
One of my favorite directors.
Absolutely.
If the first thing I'd ever seen by him was Inland Empire, probably would never watch another movie by that man.
Right.
It was so fucking terrible. It was probably as bad as Playtime. Like, it's fucking awful, and it's really long. But I'm really glad that wasn't the case, because I've watched some of his films dozens of times, and I love them, and they like bring a lot of legitimate joy deep inside of my body.
Right.
And some on the outside of my body too.
Sure.
But that's a good example. Like, possibly this other guy's films are something I would enjoy.
Right.
You never know. So.
Yeah. But for now, we'll probably give him a rest.
I'll probably let it lie for a while. Maybe if I see it at the library, like I said, one of his other films, and I'm bored, maybe I'll pick it up.
Yeah.
Definitely won't go out of my way. Unless maybe one of our listeners is like, okay, yeah, this movie is fucking terrible, but you really should see this one.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe then too.
Right. So there you go, listeners.
Yeah.
The onus is on you.
Yeah. So have you seen any other good movies lately?
Yeah, I did actually.
Yeah.
Last Sunday, trying to get the taste of Come Along out of my soul.
Right.
I went and I saw The Nice Guys.
Ah.
The new Shane Black movie with Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe.
Well,
It is quite good. It is indeed, I would say, excellent.
it's in the theaters now.
It is. Hurry and go see it.
Oh yeah, because it's probably not doing great.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it was a low budget kind of thing, but it's definitely getting overpowered by your X-Men's and your Captain America's.
Sure,
and your whatever's.
There's no superheroes in that movie.
No, there are not.
Ah.
Although Hey, Russell Crowe was in a superhero movie.
He was, he was Zod or
No, he was
Jor-El. Yeah, that's right. Ryan Gosling, wasn't he Captain Britain?
No.
Probably not.
I don't think so.
It is funny how just about every big actor now has been some sort of superhero,
Right.
or like comic book character. Like even Will Smith is, he's got his Deadshot, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Like just like anybody you just kind of randomly think of, like they've got some sort of connection,
Right.
Because it's like the thing now. Like this is probably something we'll look back on, decades from now. Like, man, there were so many superhero movies in that time period.
Right.
Like it was like that was the thing.
I think it's kind of, I don't know, it's, I've been seeing this a lot ever since, like, this boom sort of started, which I don't think I could even pinpoint now as to when it happened.
When it started, right? Spider-Man, maybe?
Maybe, yeah. Or X-Men, even.
Yeah.
X-Men, I think, really kicked it off.
Right.
Spider-Man threw it all into high gear.
Yeah.
But like, every summer, like, the same article comes out. And it's like, there's too many superhero movies.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, they all make billions of dollars.
Right?
Of course there's
Yeah.
going to be.
There's too many cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
Guess what? People love them.
Exactly. Nobody is ever writing any articles about how there's too many rom-coms or, too many, action movies.
Right.
Or,
Yeah.
too many Oscar bait films.
Right.
Like why do they always have to focus on the superhero ones? And of course they always call them comic book movies, which is infuriating because, not all comic book movies are superhero movies.
Sure, yeah.
Comic books are a medium, not a genre.
Yeah, right, yeah, exactly.
Hence, come on.
Yeah.
It's a comic book, technically.
Yep.
Definitely not a superhero book.
No. Although that guy was a hero. He did try to
That is true.
save his timeline.
But not a superhero.
No. But yeah, I feel like yeah, that is, we do have a shitload of superhero movies.
Sure.
And I think it's just, obviously it's a couple of different things. It's, one is the technology finally caught up with, what you would need visually to sell that. And then two, it happens to be a fad right now where comics are really big again.
Right. Well, the comic book movies are.
Yeah.
Not the actual comics.
I don't know. I feel like comics are selling better than they were. Like, because after the 90s boom and 90s crash, comics were pretty dead for a long time. But,
Right.
I think we sell a lot more than we did in the, early 2000s, for sure.
I'm just saying, like when you think about, in the 90s, obviously, I think that was probably the peak.
Yeah.
At least for our generation.
Sure.
Because I know, Action Comics and, Captain Marvel back in, the Golden Age, they sold millions of copies. But,
Oh, yeah.
After the whole Frederick Wortham thing,
Yeah.
it significantly dropped off and I don't think it really reached its peak again until the 90s where it was selling millions of copies again.
Yeah.
But I was talking to our friend Matt Brasfield the other day, and we just, out of curiosity, looked it up, and the best-selling comic of, April only sold 250,000 copies.
Wow.
Which is not a lot when you think about it.
Yeah.
It was Black Panther was the number one selling comic.
Wow, really? Nice.
But yet, Captain America Civil War, which features Black Panther, made $1 billion.
Right. Yeah.
Literally.
Huh.
$1 billion.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I know Marvel's Star Wars #1 sold 1 million copies. I think that was the first book in decades that sold 1 million copies.
Well, it's because they had 75 variant covers too.
It's true. And I think they're in 6th printings now. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so the 1 million #1 first printings weren't enough.
Right. Yeah. And here's the other thing, for whatever reason, Star Wars superheroes are still marginalized as just nerdy pursuits,
Right.
that are only loved by misfits and miscreants. No.
Yeah.
They make billions of dollars.
Yeah, lots of people like them.
That is not just the losers of the world like us.
Right?
That is fucking everybody.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, losers like us actually,
We watch Playtime.
we watch Playtime and Captain America Civil War.
Exactly.
Yeah. I haven't seen Civil War yet, but I bet it's much better than Playtime.
Oh, it is. Yes. Absolutely. You will only be bored for maybe 10 minutes of that movie
Oh, see? That's much better.
instead of for the entire
rest of it.
runtime.
You know, I used to go to a billiard hall called Playtime Billiards. It was my favorite place that I've ever played pool
Really?
on Linden Avenue here in
Okay.
Dayton. Yeah, I loved
Right
it.
across from Carroll High School.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and it's gone now, but I used to go there. I lived very close to there for a while in one of my apartments, and I would go there like 3 nights a week and just play by myself for like an hour, just trying to get better at pool.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was great. Loved it.
I think the only thing that's in that building now is a Lebanese restaurant.
Yep.
Which is not bad. They have some decent food.
Yeah, I haven't been there yet. I went to another Lebanese restaurant in like South Vienna, and it was like the niece of the lady that owns that one over there.
Okay.
Was working there, and she was like, "You should go to the one in Linden too. My aunt runs it. It's great." So I haven't been there yet.
I've only been there the once, but it was good. I'm sure that after the first Avengers movie came out, they
Soul shawarma,
sold a lot of shawarma there. Had a bump in popularity.
right? That's awesome. Huh.
Yeah. Speaking of superhero movies, I also did see X-Men Apocalypse.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That was just okay.
Just okay.
Yep. It falls between The Nice Guys and Playtime.
Right, like right in the middle.
Pretty much,
Yeah.
yep.
Wow.
It was perfectly a good waste of 2.5 hours.
Right.
But you know, not anything that I would jump up for joy about. I can probably pick it apart very easily and find everything that is wrong and bad about that movie, but I still enjoyed it.
Yeah. It's not. Is it like a rewatchable movie though?
No, I would never watch this again.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I've kind of heard a lot of the same thing about that one. Like just mediocre.
It really is. It's like there's maybe like 3 like truly excellent scenes in the movie, and then the rest of it is all mostly filler.
Right.
And then also, you know, I mean, I'm sure a part of it is that like I could just not give a shit about Apocalypse, the character, because like I've just always hated that villain.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, just always seemed overblown and pointless to me.
I never read the early X Factors where like he first appeared. I can't remember if I've ever read a comic with Apocalypse in it. Like I know I've seen, working at the store, I've seen his image like a million times.
Sure.
But other than the official handbook of the Marvel Universe, I don't think I own any comics with him in it.
I do own some of the early X Factors. I think I own his like first real big appearance as well. And then I definitely have the first appearance of Archangel, which was
Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Maybe I've read that. Because I might have read that story.
And then, the height of my teenage collecting days, like that's when Age of Apocalypse came out, so I was fully on board for that shit.
Right. Yeah, I never read. I think I read Generation Next, but I don't remember it very well.
Yeah, that's probably...
He might have been in there.
At least, he might have been, yeah. But it was definitely the best drawn one.
Yeah, that's why I bought it.
Yeah.
Chris Pachillo.
Yep. Chiller was prime,
Yep.
as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, yeah, I loved his... Yeah, Shade and Generation X. Yeah. Actually, I was looking at the cover to Generation X at Mavericks yesterday. It was like on our number 1 wall.
The shiny chromium?
The shiny chromium cover, and I was like, man, that is one of my favorite, like, gimmicky covers ever.
Yeah.
Like, it just looks nice.
Yeah.
Like, 25 years later, it still looks nice.
Yep. Yeah, man, I love that era of Chris Pachillo.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not necessarily bad per se, but he's just...
Yeah, he's doing...
He changed his style a lot.
Yeah.
From what I really enjoyed.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of artists do, and like
Sure.
some for the better, and like honestly, like old Art Adams artwork better than current Art Adams artwork.
Oh, I don't agree with that at all.
Really? There's something something about some of the changes he made to his characters. Like, I love the lanky, old, like, 80s style that he had. And I think he's amazing now. Like, I still think, I still think he's one of the best artists working in comics, but I still prefer his, like, 80s stuff.
Fair enough. Yeah. I kind of feel that way about Bocello, for the most part. Although I would say that somewhere along the way, Bocello totally lost the ability to tell a story. Like if you just, like, you should be able to flip through any comic and be able to tell what's going on without reading the words.
Sure.
Cannot do that with a Chris Bocello comic. And have not been able to do that in, like, the last 20 years.
See, he's doing Doctor Strange still?
Yeah.
Is he? Okay. Yeah. I still haven't read that. Heard it's good.
Yeah.
Actually, I own the first issue and have not gotten around to it yet.
Likewise. Yeah. What about you? You watch anything?
I finally watched the Hateful Eight.
Oh.
Yeah.
We were supposed to watch that together.
Yeah, we talked about possibly doing it as a show.
Yeah.
I was just in the right mood for it.
All right.
And I had a copy. So I watched it once.
That's disappointing.
I would watch it again. I liked
spoiler?
it. I liked it. Yeah. It was by far, I feel, by far his, Tarantino's slowest movie.
Oh, yeah. Is
But
it like 3.5 hours long? Something like that?
It's 2.5, yeah.
Okay.
But, there's a giant portion of that movie that is just dialogue.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with that.
Sure. Because it had a plot.
It had a plot.
It
And
did
likable,
something, right?
relatable characters. Yeah. It was, I thought it was really good.
That's cool.
It's always cool to see Kurt Russell.
That is true.
Yeah.
I actually I did watch a Kurt Russell movie yesterday on TV. Used Cars.
Oh my god, I've seen that like way back when I was like a child.
Yeah.
Wow, I forgot about that. Man. Yeah, he's great.
Oh yeah.
Kurt fucking Russell.
He's amazing. He's apparently going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy too.
Yeah, that's cool.
Right. Yeah.
Is he going to be Star-Lord's papa, you think?
I think that's the rumor at this point.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
We'll see what happens. I wonder if he'll have the beard.
I wonder if he'll have the shirt from Big Trouble. That'd be awesome. Because it's still out there.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah. And the pants from Used Cars.
Yeah. That'd be great.
We've designed a Kurt Russell character.
Yeah. Wow. It's like one of those things, those like children's books where you can like switch like the pirate's head with the maid's body and the robot's legs and switch it all around. That's fun. Oh man. Yeah, that's the only movie I've seen though, recently.
Yeah. Read anything good?
What have I read? Oh, the only thing I bought this week was the new issue of Paper Girls. Paper Girls image comic by Brian Vaughan and Cliff Ching returned after a small hiatus. And
Sure.
It's really good. I like that book. It's like I never know what to expect with that book, which is what I like about it. But it moves forward and like, you know, it's not just meandering and weird. It's like, but you never know what's going to happen.
That's cool.
I like it.
Bought the first trade. I think came in about a month or two ago.
Mm.
So yeah, look forward to reading that at some point.
Yeah. And the art's just gorgeous. It's like, I think it's my favorite Cliff Chang art, and I think a lot of it has to do with just the color palette that whoever is coloring it, I forget who that is. It's not Cliff Chang that's coloring it, but it really helps a lot. It just like shows off like what he does well.
Right.
So I think it's great. That's the only book I've read too. I'm just
I read Dark Knight 3 #1.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, I am curious. Is it awful?
It's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the mini comic good?
Not really.
No.
Yeah.
Because for those of you who don't know, there's a mini comic. Okay, well, Dark Knight is the sequel to Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns.
It's the third.
Yeah.
Third in the series. It is not really written by Frank Miller. It's written by Brian Azzarello. Frank Miller, I guess, basically came up with the idea, and then Brian Azzarello is doing the actual work.
Sure.
And Andy Kubert is drawing it with Klaus Janson on inks. and every issue comes with a mini comic focusing on a different non-Batman character, I guess.
Okay.
And then, so the first issue is about the Atom,
Okay.
and it is actually drawn by Frank Miller.
Who wrote it?
Miller and Azzarello.
Okay.
And inked by Claus Janson as well. So basically, like, I have zero desire to read this comic.
Right.
At all.
Yeah, me neither.
Like, my love for The Dark Knight Returns waned probably like 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And when I picked up like the first issue of Dark Knight Strikes Again, or Dark Knight Strikes Back, whatever the hell it was called.
Right.
And I hated it.
Yeah.
And so, like, Dark Knight 3 was announced, and I was like, God damn it, you know, zero desire. But, you know, I'm trying to do sketch covers to sell. And I figured, well, people do like it, so I'll buy this Dark Knight blank sketch cover and draw a Batman on it.
Right.
And that'll be pretty much all that I do with it. But while I was drawing it, you know, like waiting for ink to dry or whatever, I was like, yeah, I'll flip through it.
Right. I think it would be hard not to read it if you owned it.
Right, yeah.
You know? Like, just a morbid curiosity.
Right. And I think for every sketch cover that I've done so far, I have at least flipped through it just to see, like, get the gist of it. Like, I read Power Man Iron Fist #1 and
Future Quest.
Future Quest. Well, of course, I bought a copy for myself because I'm totally on board with that book, and no matter what.
Yeah.
I also wanted to really draw those characters.
Right.
Because they're all awesome.
They are.
Yeah.
They are.
Birdman, Space Ghost, the Herculoids. Come on, people.
Right.
But yeah, so I flipped through Dark Knight, and it was, yeah, it's not great. Like it is definitely, like, trying its hardest to be Dark Knight Returns. You know, like, it has, like, a lot of the same, like, storytelling devices.
The news reporter TV screen thing.
Yeah. It's at least, like, at least 1 2-page spread of that throughout this book. And it's about Batman mysteriously returning yet again to fuck up some Gotham police.
See, I still have a soft spot in my heart for the very first Dark Knight Returns series.
Right.
And I'm sure it's largely nostalgic.
Oh, yeah.
Because I read it when I was a kid, and it blew my mind.
Yep, same.
And I still think the art looks incredible from that book.
Absolutely.
I kind of fear that if I sat down and reread it tonight, it wouldn't have the same magic.
It won't.
But I think I'll keep those in my collection just because I just have a soft spot for it.
I still have a copy of it, and a copy of Year One, and all that. You know, because yeah, like I did have big nostalgic feels for it.
Oh yeah.
When I was a kid. But yeah, I think about 10 years ago, maybe longer. Like I tried rereading it, and it just I couldn't get through it.
I know I reread it like a few years after I first read it, and I remember not liking it as much. But I mean, it wasn't as impactful because the first time I read it,
Oh, sure, yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
But
It breaks your goddamn little 10-year-old brain.
right.
Yeah.
But I still remember liking it.
Yeah.
It just wasn't as like, you know, bombastic because you know you knew what was gonna happen.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, and then obviously, like, I'm not a huge fan of Andy Kubert at all. Like, I don't like him or Adam Kubert at all.
Right.
Like, I do think one of them is better than the other, but I can never remember which is which. But I will say that Claus Janson inks it, and I don't like Claus Janson either. Like, I think he ruins a lot of good art out
Oh
there.
wow. Okay.
Like, I've pretty much only enjoyed his work over John Romita Jr. and Frank Miller.
I really like Klaus Janson.
I do not. But I will say that he makes Andy Kubert almost palatable.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
almost.
So like even though like two things you don't really like together, it works a little better.
A little bit,
Right?
yeah. But yeah, the main plot of the the unfortunately subtitled The Master Race
Yeah.
is about the daughter of Superman and Wonder Woman finding the bottle city of Kandor and discovering that the citizens of Kandor no longer want to be tiny.
Huh.
And they are basically, the mini-comic is about her going to the Atom to work out a solution to them being free.
Okay.
But then, of course, you now have millions of Kryptonians running around. They are the Master Race.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, not really anything to do with white supremacy or Nazism or anything like that, other than Frank Miller's involvement.
So they do, spoiler, get all the Kryptonians
I'm sure.
bigger.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Not in that issue, but I'm sure that's what happens.
Right.
And I'm not going to read any of the
Right.
future issues.
Unless you happen to buy a sketch cover.
Sure, yeah. I don't think they did sketch covers for every issue.
Yeah, probably not.
I think it's still going on, even.
Yeah. And there's like a one shot. I think we ordered it back in November. I think it was due in February, and it's coming out in a couple weeks. It's like Dark Knight 3, The Master Race, Last Crusade one shot.
Never even heard of that.
Yeah, like, wow. You probably saw it last year in previews and just forgot about it. It has I think it has like a Frank Miller Joker drawing on the cover.
Okay.
But, yeah. So I think there's one more issue plus that thing. I guess.
And I know Frank Miller himself is supposedly working on The Dark Knight 4.
Nice.
With no one else working on it other than himself.
It's going to be amazing.
I'm sure it will. Like, part of me feels bad for wanting to shit on Frank Miller because of, whatever.
It's easy to do now.
Oh, it's so easy to do.
Yeah.
But, part of it is like, well, he's all sickly and
Right.
had whatever disease he's got that is obviously taking its toll on him.
Right.
But at the same time, man, you're just crazy and awful.
Oh, yeah, it's not even like if his ability had waned,
Right.
I wouldn't dislike him as much. It just seems like he's just become like this fucking idiot,
Yep.
and it just makes it hard to want to read his art, which is weird because I always try to separate the art from the artist.
It's really hard with him, isn't it?
It's hard with him, and like also I don't think the quality is still there in his art,
Right. There's that too. Right.
and he's just seems like kind of an idiot.
Right.
So
And an asshole.
yeah.
Oh, well, he's got more money than neither of us will ever have in our lives.
Sure, but that doesn't make him rich in my heart. What? But yeah, Master Race.
Yep.
I mean, I guess it's, it's a title that gets attention.
Sure.
So, that's what they want to sell funny books. So.
Yep. There was, I'm sure you've seen the cover of the mini comic that's in the first issue.
Yeah.
Of Superman and his dick flapping around.
Right.
That got a lot of press when that first happened.
Right.
I would say about a month ago, there was a guy who posted a couple things on his blog that was, I thought it was pretty interesting. And that basically, a lot of people are, crapping on Frank Miller's art and his ability. And he was just what he really thinks, and honestly, he had a really good argument, is that DC doesn't know what to do with his art. They hired colorists to do basically, fully rendered, 3D coloring jobs on his art.
On his really cartoony art.
Right, yeah. It was well, maybe it should just be flat colors and, a simpler palette and, stuff like that. And so he, just, modified a couple of those pieces, and they honestly did look really good, even that Superman.
Huh, okay.
Just with flat, plain, no rendering, no shading.
Oh, yeah.
Just cartoony coloring.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, it was kind of neat.
I can see that.
Hear that, or maybe Frank Miller just needs to, get back together with Lynn Varley and
is she not coloring his?
Oh, no, yeah, they got divorced about 11 years ago or something.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, once Sin City came out, I think.
And they still don't, work, they never worked together after that?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think all of his artwork since then has been either just plain old black and white or colored by
whoever.
Yeah.
Right.
There.
Huh. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Does she still color?
I don't know. I don't see her name pop up anywhere.
Right.
Who knows?
I
Of
hope
course,
so.
I don't think I ever really saw her color anyone other than Frank Miller either.
Right, yeah, me neither. Yeah. Man, that Electra Lives Again book. Wow.
Yes.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
She did a great job.
Yep. And then Dark Knight Strikes Again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lynn Varley, I'm not paying for you to learn Photoshop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess I should probably pick a book for us to read.
Is it Holy Terror?
I wish. It's going to be Dark Knight Strikes Again.
Yes. I never did finish. I read the first 2 and like gave up on that one.
No, I'm picking a very different book.
Oh.
That's one I just got the trade hardcover, whatever, a couple weeks ago. One I've been wanting to read for quite a while, and I just never had a copy. But now I do.
Oh, curious.
We're going to read Beasts of Burden.
Oh.
The Evan Dorkin, Jill Thompson comic about
nice.
detective animals.
Yeah. Awesome. I look forward to it. I actually almost bought, there was a one-shot like a month ago.
Yeah.
I almost bought that.
Was the cat dragged in?
Yeah. I was like, I haven't read anything from that in a while, and I didn't pick it up. So, that's cool.
Yeah. Well, this will be, I believe it collects there was like 4 or 5 short stories that appeared in various places, and then there was a 4-issue miniseries, and I think it has all those.
Okay.
So,
sweet.
I don't think it has the Hellboy crossover, though.
Oh, I have read that one.
Yeah.
Like, that one's cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you're down for that.
Sure.
Sweet.
Sounds good.
Yeah. I will have to read it first.
That's cool.
So, can't give it to you tonight.
Nah, that's alright.
Give it to you later in the week. This is all off-air conversation.
That's cool. I look forward to it. I like both those creators quite a bit.
As do I.
Yeah.
All right. Let's
Well-
go scrub playtime out of our brains.
Well, let's try to do that. I'm gonna soak my brain in alcohol. See if that helps.
Okay. I'm gonna go re-listen to the Gutter Trash episode of Come Long.
Oh, see? That should help. Yeah, sorry.
It's alright. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Gutter Trash. You can subscribe to the show from guttertrash.net or from iTunes and leave us a review. Visit guttertrash.net for email information and for other podcasts and websites in the Gutter Trash Network. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.